G'day, I'm RJ. Welcome to the Nerdy Dad channel. Let's talk about Skeleton Crew. Well, the first half, the first 4 episodes anyway. And this show is fast becoming one of my favorite Star Wars shows. And after the first 2 episodes, I didn't think I was going to be able to say that. Look, I never watched E.T. I never watched The Goonies. Despite being the perfect age group, these are the shows that were of the era of my childhood. They're not the type of show I ever got into. I tried to watch Stranger Things when it came out. It never gelled with me. These kids never gelled with me. So I was worried about with Skeleton Crew, despite the fact that in general I love Star Wars, I love the setting, that maybe these kids wouldn't gel with me. And in fact, in the first 2 episodes, that's exactly what I found. That, the kids weren't terrible. Wim's impetuousness kind of got under my skin a bit, but I knew that was going to be his character. And, all the stereotypes of the kids were kind of what you expect, KB was the one that got under my skin the least. Neil was really cute. I know that's the fan favorite. But to me, my favorite character is KB. But none of the kids really gelled with me in the first 2 episodes. However, I was more interested in everything that was going on in the show about the kids other than the kids. The opening scene with the pirates got me. I really, really loved that explosive start to the first episode. Loved it. The mystery that was building about At-Aten, that nobody knew where their planet was, that they used Old Republic credits, that there was something a little bit off, even when they were at home and everything was normal. It wasn't quite normal to everyone else. Everyone who's seen Star Wars knew there's something wrong. So the mystery and what we saw of the action, the pirates, that stuff got me more than the stuff with the kids in the first 2 episodes. However, it started to grow on me. And I now went back and looked at the first 2 episodes again after watching the 3rd and 4th episodes, which I really thoroughly enjoyed. And I think each episode I'm starting to like the show more. And with every episode, I'm starting to like the episodes before it more. This show is building and building and building, and that's fantastic. Because if you ask me at the start of the year if I was going to like Skeleton Crew more or The Acolyte more, I would have said The Acolyte hands down. The High Republic, yes please. A story about Jedi, yes please. A story about the dark side. The Acolyte was supposed to be a story centered around a dark side character, which I suppose in the end it was. Yes please. A story about a bunch of kids in the Star Wars universe? Yeah, I'll take it. It's Star Wars. But The Acolyte got more and more concerning, more and more worrying as it went on. And in the end, there are big elements of that story that I didn't like. The Acolyte overall had some parts that were really, really good, had some ideas that were brilliant, and overall execution, it fell flat. Skeleton Crew had an idea, well, the basic idea, the kids. I didn't know that idea was going to gel with me. That this crew of kids going off on adventures was either going to work or it wasn't. But there were other ideas. The pirates, and that works. The mystery of At-Aten, and that works. But episode after episode is building with these kids, and you know what? This crew of kids also works. It's grown on me because the story writing is tight and it flows and you're being exposed to a little bit of the mystery and a little bit of the mystery, and it's building to something. Now, the same thing could happen to Skeleton Crew as happened to The Acolyte. After the first few episodes of The Acolyte, I said, my God, that mystery they're building to, I'd want to be something good. Otherwise, the whole premise falls flat. I feel that less so with Skeleton Crew because the adventure has been, and the story writing has been better than The Acolytes. So I'm not, I'm invested in this core mystery. But even if it's not quite up to snuff, it's not going to have the same, well, it might have the same letdown effect. Let's see what happens. But the way the story's been building, I actually trust these writers to deliver something worthwhile with the mystery of At-Atten. Because so far, I am impressed. So, yeah, let's talk about the episodes one by one. Let's start at the start. We get our introduction to the pirates, and yeah, for the first two episodes, that might have been the best scene of the first two episodes, maybe. And then, of course, you get your introduction to the kids in the suburbs, and it's fine. Until right at the end when you get the spaceship taking off. I mean, the first episode was pretty much as predicted. You kind of knew what was going to happen. And it's fine. The second episode, things start to get a little deeper. Now, I'm trying to remember, was it the second or the third? No, it's the third episode that happens. So the second episode, you develop a little more of an understanding of the kids. You go to the pirate port. By the way, that port, and I'm struggling to remember its name right now, was fantastic. It was the bar on Tatooine on steroids. A hive of scum and villainy indeed. Creatures from all across the galaxy that George could have only dreamed of doing back in the 70s. This was great. And as I said, I wasn't sure about the kids in the first two episodes, but that pirate port, everything except the kids was fantastic, even those first two episodes. And then you get the third episode. The opening to the third episode, you see the parents and their reaction. And I loved it. This channel's called The Nerdy Dad. I'm a father. I have some of my kids are within, around the same age as those kids. And I really felt what the parents were going through. It was well done. So I'm really keen to follow their story. So there's another thread to pick at. And what else happened in the third episode? Kim was a delight. That owl cat, wonderful creature who formed a bond with the kids, who wanted to protect the kids, unfortunately by sending X-Wings after them because she doesn't trust Redbeard. Or whatever his name is, Jod, Captain Silver, or Silvo, I think it is, sorry. Whatever his real name is, she doesn't trust that scoundrel. But yes, that was a glorious chapter of the story for me, the third episode. And it's that episode that made me start to like these kids more. You saw the personalities of the kids. Not that the personalities of the kids weren't there in the first two episodes, but they started to break stereotype. I think in the first two episodes, the kids' personalities were very stereotyped. And by the third episode, you start to actually see some personality. You start to get conversations between the kids. You see them start to figure things out. And I really enjoyed that. You saw them stand up to Jod, which was great. You saw them start to talk about the mystery of At-Aten. You saw them, shoot X-Wings. Having said that, you find out afterwards that the X-Wings were going easy on them because they didn't want to shoot the kids. Fair. But you saw the kids come together and they're starting to, as I said, figure things out. And then in the 4th episode, oh my God, it's just go, 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 go. From start to finish. They land on a planet that's like, well, let's just start with the fact that the layout of the planet is the same as the layout of their own planet. Well, hang on. Let's go even further. They happen to land in a part of the planet with a suburb that was the same as their own suburb. So are there identical suburbs all over these planets, or is there only one suburb on each planet and they happen to land in the right place or whatever? They land in a suburb that's like their own on a planet that's like their own. That's one of these jewels of the Old Republic. Now, the Jewels of the Old Republic is new to me. The Old Republic is not. I'm a KOTOR player. KOTOR 1 and 2 are two of my favorite, Knights of the Old Republic, two of my favorite games ever. I'm actually playing through KOTOR 2 right now for the, I don't know how many 100th time. But yes, I've never heard of the Jewels of the Old Republic. That's new to modern canon. So you've got these two planets with an identical layout. One is still protected, At-Aten, because it hasn't been found by anyone. The other jewels of the Old Republic were destroyed. So this planet is not what it was. Something happened to it. Something's not right with At-Aten. But something's even less right with this world. And then Jod, I don't trust him. I don't know that him just selling the IOPs is what happened. Maybe it did. Maybe he just used the credits. Or maybe that was a down payment. I have this terrible feeling that he's promised. Like he got out of the pirate that world too easy. Maybe he bribed some of the pirates with, "Hey, I'm going to find At-Aten. You can share in some of the treasure." I wonder if the dataries that he paid for the IOPs with was a down payment. If he promised these guys that, "Hey, if you let me go, if you let me get these kids, then we can find their homeworld, and there are more of these. Then there is more to raid and plunder." I hope I'm wrong, but I don't trust him. And I feel like that might be the long game, which leads us to Smee, SM33, and his turn at the end of this episode. His turn to violence. He does know At-Aten. He just can't say he knows no At-Aten. That was brilliant. I love that. I love that he'd been there before. I love that he was the one who'd smashed the coordinates when he'd been there before. Now I wonder about his captain. I wonder now, who was his captain? And what role does his captain play? Because part of me wonders if the captain destroy all record of At-Aten because he wanted to steal the treasure for himself. I wonder if his old captain is now the leader of At-Aten, and that the treasure was to control At-Aten. I wonder if his captain was always from At-Aten and was going out into the galaxy with the express purpose of obliterating the records. I don't know. But either way, SM-33 turns, well, feral for want of a better word. He goes to destroy the kids because they've overwritten his protocol. Even though they're from At-Aten, he has to destroy them because they want the location of where they're from originally. It's such an interesting conundrum they've got. So will they turn him back on again? Likely. Will they turn him back on next episode? I don't know. They now know that he has the coordinates that they need. However, if it's not safe to turn him back on, what I thought, well, before I realized that he had the coordinates, what I thought they were going to do is, okay, they got to this tower and the coordinates for At-Aten were destroyed, but they have the coordinates of all these other jewels of the Old Republic. And any one of these other planets, maybe they also have a central tower that has the coordinates of the other planets. And, you know, if two of the jewels of the Old Republic had the same layout, maybe the other ones did too. So they could go to another one of these planets, go to the tower, and hope that SM-33 hasn't destroyed those copies of the coordinates as well. I don't know. But I loved this episode. Like everyone else, I did like the stuff with Neil, but for me, it was more about the scene at the end with SM-33, with what all the kids like. That scene at the end, just before the end, where, and I'm now struggling for the names because I haven't scripted this, where Wim and the lead, the captain, where Wim and the captain are together, and he says how much he admires her, but she breaks down. She can't do it. She can't always be the one with the answers. And let's face it, they're all just kids in the end. And I'm falling more and more in love with this story. And I've rabbited on for too long because this is now nearly a 20-minute video. So on that note, this is the Nerdy Dad signing out.